Welcome back to episode 2, picking up from the Weeping Peninsula. So before we get going, I would just like to give a brief recap in case someone is tuning in late. The first few episodes of the walkthrough will be going to getting everybody better start in weapons, a few healing items, and a few talismans as well to make sure we all have the best possible start to, give you guys just a little bit of help at the beginning of the game. So with that being said, once again, we are not going crazy. We're going to grab a few items out of the open world, and that's it, right? Obviously, we could run and go get all types of stuff, but that's not what we want to do. We just want to get you guys a solid start. So, picking up from Castle Morn Rampart, there's going to be a merchant right here. We did not have time to fit this in. I've already went ahead and picked up the Bastard Sword in between episodes. It's just a good, solid weapon. There will obviously be better choices later on. I just happen to like it. He has 3 smithing 1s, 1 smithing 2. So there's a few things here. There's a couple shields. There's the Crimson Amber Medallion, which was a starting gift. If you took my advice to get the Stone Sword Key, which you should have, you can still pick this up here, but it's only going to give you like 1 level into health, so it's just not substantial. Either way, from where we left off, what we're going to be doing is pretty much leaving Castlemore Rampart, and you're going to see this battlement, right? This wall. We're just going to follow that, then loop back into this village right here. In case you guys get turned around for whatever reason. Some areas, especially if it's your first time playing, obviously can be a little confusing, right? But if you follow the straight path, you can't really go wrong. So you're going to notice it kind of splits off to the right, and that's the way we want to go. But first, we'll go ahead and just grab our crafty stuff while we're here. You guys want to kill the little rat bros you can. In fact, we'll probably just go ahead and clear this area. There's not really a need to come back later. There's only a few items in this village, so we'll just grab them now. Once again, probably don't even have to kill the guys. And we probably will come through just to make sure later, but, there's only a few things. There's a shield, a spell, and a sacred tier crafting, and that's really it. Either way, if you follow this all the way to the village, you're going to notice it keeps looping around to a church. Before we go in the church, you can actually go right back here for a shield. I'd probably never use it, but someone might like it. So that's your flame crest. Now these guys are using madness, which is a nasty status in this game. Nasty status. I wouldn't play around with them, but if it's easy enough to take them down, why not, right? Now, going into the church, what we're going to be doing is grabbing 2 items and jumping out the back right window. There are madness rats. You don't want to play with them. Trust me on this. They are nasty enemies. So, like I said, just jump out the little area to the right. Then from here, we're really just a straight shot to the cliff side. Now, since you get to the cliff, if you go to the right, you really start stacking up a little bit of, your crafting right here. But there should be, yep, right here, the side of grace. Now, this is later. As mentioned, we pretty much got most of everything out of here. With that being said, there is, when we start going through and we're thorough and we're clearing every little area, we are going to want to make sure we come back here briefly at least, just, do a once over, because there is crafting items and a few things that you could pick up, but it's more just to, be thorough. But really, spell, sacred tier, in the shield, sorry. I had a brain fart. In the shield, that's what you're really after. Now, eventually, as you go down, you're going to see these little drop stones here. Now, we're going to use these. I would go to whatever weapon has the most damage, because this has to go quick. Since we get to the bottom, we're going to be flooded by rats. Now, what you're going to have to do is kill a scarab as fast as you can. Then we're going to shoot out to that right corner, and there's a little rock we can jump to, and then jump down to survive the fall. So it's going to go quickly. That's why I'm calling it out now. I don't think it's too difficult once you know what to do, but I guess it could be tricky, once again, it's your first time. But as soon as you get here, 1, 2, yep, that's what I said. Weapon with as much damage so we can put this little fucker down quickly and try to get out of here, heal if you need to. Alright, so it's from your northwest corner. Just look carefully. There's going to be a little stone. You can barely see it. It's right here. This is going to break your fall enough so when you drop all the way down, you don't get killed, right? Now, once you get to the bottom here, ignore your air current. Here's these poison flowers. And all in all, what we're trying to do is just stay to the far left side. And you see a little set of ruins here, so we want to be on the left side of the ruins. Then you'll eventually get to the end, and you're going to see a few of these poison flowers. Just past them, it's going to be your faith, not tier. So like I said, we're getting starting items for everybody, right? Everybody. Then as soon as you grab that, if you turn around, you can start scaling up this cliff here. You're about to see how, close we were to wrapping up with Weeping Peninsula, because we have like a few other things to get, and that's it. We just didn't have the time to cover it, but we were almost there. Now you're just wrapping up the mountain here, or the cliff rather, and that's where you're going. So it's on your map, can't miss it. The mid-top peak, that's gonna be your next church. And all you're doing is wrapping up that mountain. But yeah, feel free to use markers, guys. When we start doing content, we're gonna use the hell out of markers. But for right now, I think it's pretty simple to follow these paths because we are using, the main roads and stuff like that. So right here be your next sacred tier. And of course, we are going to throw all of these in. We're just going to wait till we have everything. It makes more sense to do it all at once and we keep track of what we picked up. Alright guys, so we will go ahead and talk to Melina. This is just more backstory, don't have to do it.
Spoken shall I shed? In Marika then, return grows strong.
Alright. So now, we'll pull up the map to show you what we're doing. So leaving the church, we know that, we've already got everything we wanted out of that side. So what we're going to be doing is going down, and you're going to see where you can go downhill to the more open area, which is this. Firstly, we'll be going to the ruins. And then after that, we will be shooting over for the church, which will be right here. So just in case you guys get lost. But as soon as you go down the hill, you will see, a little set of ruins which will be there. Then we'll just go up, get the church, and then we'll end right around here. So we'll leave that up for a quick second. But as soon as we get on it, it's a really easy path to follow. Now, we're going to go grab a weapon. This is a little bit of a suicide run. There's pretty tough guys for right now, at least, in this ruin. So, what you're going to do is just run straight back, pop a door, get a chest, and get gone. Now, you can try to fight these guys if you want. It might make life easier. So, the Morning Star has blood loss. It can help, take enemies down easier. There's also going to be, I think, 3 rats up top. Now, they can follow you in here. And we already have enough trouble inside the ruins. We don't, we don't need any company. So, right back in the center, we'll have him. Thank you. Thank you. Then if you just run through your marker, it'll get rid of it. So you don't get, too crowded on your map. Alright, so here's your tough part. This has 2 pages. Pages are guys who use rapiers and crossbows to shoot explosive bullets like that. Now there's 2 of them in here. So you want to try to keep moving. But if you use 2 guard counters, you can, break a stagger. Put him down. So it might be the safer bet, but if you're worried about it, just run past. Just run past. Remember to heal. Thank you. But as I said, using guard counters is just a really smart playstyle, especially early on. Especially early on. You'll eventually get better at dodging, you'll eventually, get better at parrying or whatever you're trying to do. But it will do a lot to keep you alive. Winged Scythe is a absolutely phenomenal Dex Faith weapon. We're going Strength Faith for the walkthrough as far as the recommended build, but Dex Faith is just as good. When I get to the DLC, I'll switch up Dex Faith, but Strength Faith is just really, really, really solid option. However, like weapons like that, man, this is worth a mention. And like I said, when we're done with our early run around, we're gonna, end by going to a blacksmith to get you guys upgrades, and we will break down all your weapons and recommended per build. But just to talk about for a second, this has holy damage built in. Physical, obviously, everything is physical, but it also has blood loss. So you're getting holy, blood loss, and physical, right? So you can't beat it. Now, just behind there, this is going to be the church who's uphill we put the marker at. So we go behind the ruins, you'll see the Ever Jail. Then we go right past and go right in the side of this church, ignoring the enemies. Grab you another Sacred Tear, another Site of Grace. So we are grabbing all these Sites of Grace for later on too. It just makes life so much easier. In fact, when we get on over to Liurnia, it's such a big area, we'll have all the map fragments for Caelid, Liurnia, and Limgrave. That way when we get started, we can just pretty freely go wherever we want to go. Now from the church, there's one Site of Grace. I was going to grab it later, but you guys can grab that now. All you do is just run straight across. And for anyone wanting a decent, like a shield that you can use the whole game, anytime you see soldiers with these brass shields, that is stat-wise one of the best shields in the game. It is a medium shield that has better stats than probably 80% of the great shields in the game. It's so good. It's worth farming up. Like I said, I'll never recommend you guys farm levels, but items, that's kind of different, you know what I mean? Alright, so we'll grab that Site of Grace for later, then all we're doing is working to that third spot all the way at the end of the coast. You guys are going to notice too, we're not just getting started with weapons, we're actually getting started with spells for certain builds too. We just got a few faith spells. We're going to get mage spells that are good. That's upcoming when we go to Caelid. But yeah, like I said, I'm taking every build into consideration, whether it's physical, magic, everybody's going to have, it's not going to be game breaking stuff. It's not going to be OP. It's just giving you a few more options and things you may like better, right? So it all kind of goes together and helps out. Now, this merchant here has got some pretty good stuff. So you go like pure strength. He does have this white-hander, ultra great sword, something you could use the whole game if you want, just a solid basic weapon. Aside from that, he's got a lantern. We're going to get one in our Liurnia episode when we go to Liurnia for our early run around. We'll grab the lantern there, but you can get it now if you want. And aside from that, he's got 3 smithing tubes. I would buy these because with our run around, I'm also going to take you guys around where we can get quite a few upgrades at the start, but we need to have 12 of each type of stone. Now I think we will have enough, but it's just going to help us out, right? So I would pick that up. Let's also see if we just sell some stuff here. Yeah, these are small, quick 2 grand. Make sure I get that last one. Stone sword keys worth a pickup for sure. These you'll find they're just secret notes letting you know stuff hidden within the world, which we don't need because you got me. Now leaving here, there's still a couple things we could do. So for one, if you leave and go over to the left-hand side, you're going to see another set of ruins. Now, they have these enemies here that will mess your shit up until you understand what they're doing. We're going to avoid them. You see this big ball come up, go right behind him to your stairs. And this is going to take you down. This area is actually revolved a pretty big quest line, much later in the game. As you see, you got like NPCs chained up and stuff. But for now, we'll go ahead and grab your ambush shard. And just to save us dealing with those guys, let's just fast travel out. Those guys are a fucking nightmare if you're not careful. Now there's one more thing to do. So leaving the same Site of Grace, this time going uphill to the right. In fact, there's a spirit over on that hill. If you talk to him, he's going to talk about the Tower of Return and returning home to the capital. And what he's talking about is this tower up here. This has your first, what do we call them? Trap chest, I guess you could call it. And what it is you'll get to these areas and you'll find a chest. You're like, oh, treasure. And it's a transporter trap, I'm sorry. But what it really does is it releases smoke. And this smoke is going to transport you. Usually to a much later area than you would have access to. Like this takes us to all the way towards the end of the game. Not the exact end of the game, but towards, you're talking about it. It jumps you 60 hours ahead. You can't really do anything here, but it does get you a really nice talisman. And the talisman, in my opinion, is only good early in the game. That's why I'm, taking the time to get it now. So what this does is it will steadily refill your health, but it's at such a small rate, meaning the smaller your health bar, the quicker health regen, right? So if you have a big health bar, the health regen is going to be quite shitty. But if you pull up your map, look at that. We have, all of Liurnia and Weeping. Then we'll do all of Liurnia. Then we'll do all, or most of Caelid. There's some high level stuff you have to wait for. But then you have like multiple underground regions. And then you have Mount Gelmir, the Altus Plateau, and then the capital. Like I said, it's like 50, 60 hours away. I'd have to look at my notes, but it's a long time. I'd say at least 45 hours. However, as mentioned, we can come here and grab a talisman. Now, you cannot do anything if you do not have access to the capital. You can look around. It's cool. It's my favorite area of the game. Like, it's cool shit. Like, you're actually going through this monumental castle legacy dungeon with, like, dead dragons you can climb. I mean, it's fucking dope, guys. I cannot wait for that part of the walkthrough. Now, as soon as you go here, what you want to do is just run all the way to the right and pop that chest. Because this guy's high level. He's, towards the back half of the game, right? But stay on him. You should be able to just rush in, 2 charged heavies. And as he's getting up, you're already hitting him again. Sometimes it takes, takes extra, just depends. But you might be able to take him out. It's like a quick 3,000 souls. Once again, if you're worried about it, run all the way to the right, pop the chest, if it kills you, run all the way to the right, grab your talisman. Your grace is right there. But you're almost stun locked with the guy, you know what I mean? Now, some enemies are immune to blood loss. You're not getting that extra damage boost, but even unupgraded, it's almost a joke. He can't do shit. We're locking him down. Now, if he happens to get some hits off, we're fucked. Don't get me wrong. But it should be quite manageable. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He happens to get hits off, we're in a bad way. But hopefully you guys just keep him locked down. Like that. Not to mention, you do have your shield, you got dodging, there's other things you can do. Goodbye, Mr. Golden. Alright. Because even if you have, like, no upgrades, critical hits just do so much damage. Alright. So with that, you got your Blessed Dew Talisman. So as mentioned, this is just going to regenerate health over time. So if you look at our health bar, you see how slight it is? That's what I said. If you have our health bar is small as shit. So if you have a big one, it's just not that good. So, like I said, just early game stuff. That's the only time I'd use it. But it's all the way up there, which is wild. So with that, guys, we are fully wrapped up with the Weeping Peninsula. So we can remove our markers. I think we do have to rest to leave. Yeah, so if you use a transporter trap, you have to rest before it lets you leave. That's just, it's a trap. Now, either way, from here, let's go ahead and get all of our rewards. We had 1 golden seed. We had 1, 2, 3 sacred tears. So quite a lot of help we're gonna get. Alrighty, guys. So from here, we're going to jump to the Third Church of America. Alright, so from the Third Church of America, what we're going to want to do is there is a transporter here. They'll take you all the way over to Caelid. And while we do want to use that, I want to show you guys how things would naturally occur in the right way. So what you're going to do is go back uphill where we got our scarab last episode. We're going to use this. It's going to throw you up top. Should be able to just jump to the left so we don't have to hit the third cliff. Save us some time. Yep. Alright. Now as soon as you get up top here, you go right over here to the left hand side, you're going to see another set of ruins. Now in these ruins is going to be your first stone sword key. we're going to use this. Is this going to get you guys a really good talisman? Once again, you only have one talisman slot, so you're going to have to pick and choose what to use. The second one's not far away, though. However, this one does the same thing as the turtle shield, so this is going to be your stamina regeneration. It's really nice. Now, from this point, we're going to run all the way through the ruins. Since we're not doing this yet, it's got other items, it's got a boss fight, you know, we're just not doing content yet. But we can pick up a few items, so from here, we're just going to go straight on out. You're going to see a side of grace on the left, right here. Then there's going to be an NPC just up called D. So D is someone who hunts those who live in death. These are the undead who are roaming the earth. You know, he is trying to set things right. And this is a huge storyline you're going to, you know, come into play. So he's going to warn you about the mariner over there, the boss that said we had to fight, not to fight him.
I'm known as D. Heed my warning. The village here has been worse yet. If you value the village, turn back.
So like I said, it just gives you a warning. Now, if you were to go to the hub area, which we're not, we're actually going to jump back to Third Church America. But if you went to the hub area, once you get introduced to Roundtable Hold, he would be there. He would give you a map and tell you about this transport. So it's not a step we had to do, but just to show things in the correct order I wanted to. But, you know, like I said, Roundtable Hold, he gives you a map. It shows you this location to a transporter. And that's how you would typically find that. But we're not doing Roundtable Hold yet. We're going to be saving that for a very specific time. Now, once you get here, there's going to be doors. It's going to bring you to a later NPC. We'll start, you know, getting his quest line going for too much longer, actually. Because you can start his quest pretty early in the game. So we'll get the side of grace for now, but we're not going to do anything with him yet. Now, this area here. This is Upper Caelid. Lower Caelid and Upper Caelid are completely different. So, like that guy, don't fuck with that guy. This is like over level 100. And it's weird because Lower Caelid's like level 60, Upper Caelid's level 100. That's why I said you got to kind of do, you know, some of it and then come back later. And this will make sense throughout the series. Fact of the matter is don't fuck with nothing here. You're going to deeply regret it. Caelid in general doesn't fucking play, you know. But especially here. Right? Especially Upper Caelid. However, there's a lot of good stuff we can get in Upper Caelid. Alright, so it's going to be a really big dragon. Now, this area comes very... In fact, we do this, like, right before the capital. We'll do Lower Caelid, then we'll go up and do, like, Altus Plateau. But at a certain point, we need to come back down to finish this up. But that's my point, is it's, like, that far into the game, you know, because it's so high level. But once you get past the dragon, I've never even been hit by the guy. Just run straight. Now you notice you had the black gargoyle, I think he's called. Then you had the big dragon, and then right down here is another boss. All three of them are super elite enemies. Back to back to back. Just be cautious, right? Just be cautious. So what we're trying to do is go behind this tree. So just stick to the left-hand side, because right down there, that's the Erdtree Avatar. He's a nasty son of a bitch. He uses a status called Rot, which you guys are going to absolutely love. Imagine poison, but like multiplied by 100. That's Rot. However, getting behind the tree is going to give you a current we can take on up. And if you just keep on a straight path here, it's going to run to the side of grace. This is called Fort Ferreth. Now, Fort Ferreth doesn't come to play, once again, for a long time. In front of Fort Ferreth is a big dragon. So this was a farm that people were using, you know, new players. When the game first came out, they would come, they'd get a weapon with blood loss like we have now. They would come and beat on this dragon because it gives you 100,000 souls with the right setup. Now, we speak highly against farming. At some point, we do have to take this dragon out because killing him is going to give you access to a legendary incantation need for your platinum. However, we have a specific episode we're going to do this, around 17, 18. So we're not doing it yet, right? But, you know, you could if you really wanted to. However, you know, like I said, it has to be done for your platinum. We're not doing it now. What we are going to do, though, is go into this fort. This fort is going to give us access to a talisman that will help us reach requirements for early game weapons. This talisman is very good. It gives you 20 free levels while you have it equipped. So it's going to give you 5 to health, 5 to stamina, 5 to strength, and 5 to dex, right? So that's 20 levels. Problem is it lowers your resistances, particularly to lightning the most. So once you reach about level 100, you got to get it off. So you're going to have to replace all those levels. While that could be inconvenient later, right now it's really beneficial to have. But yes, at some point we want to get rid of this. However, early game, it's going to let us use weapons, so we want it. And extra health and stamina. So there's a very, very specific path you're going to have to take. And it may get a little confusing, but you know, it's a YouTube video, so you can rewind it. I'm going to do it as slow as possible, but we have 9,000 things want to kill us, so it's kind of hard. So all you do to this point is run into the left, go straight for this ladder. If you get poisoned, it doesn't matter, you know. Just go on up. Oh, you know what? Just running around, we got 4,000 souls. I was hoping to let me fast travel out. Yeah, let's spin these real quick. I did say, you know, if you lose souls at the start, it doesn't really matter. But, I mean, if we could avoid it, you know what I mean? Why not? So, she will appear the first time you rest in Caelid. I think it's like first 3 sites of grace you use or something like that. We're not going to round table yet, guys. So, ignore this offer. There's another way to get there, so don't worry about it.
Shall I turn? Let my hand rest. Share them with me. Your thoughts.
It's not, but like a few levels. Oh, I haven't grabbed any. Yeah, so what I would like to do, we want to reach 15-15 here. That's, you know, our first goal. Because with the talisman for +5/+5, that puts us 20-20, and we're able to use almost anything we want for the most part. So I think that would be the smartest choice at the start. Either way, now I'll show you guys the route. I just didn't realize we had that many souls. Do forgive me. Alright, I guess it's good. You guys get to see it play out again. So you just go in. You go to the left, work around here. This part's easy. It's once we drop back in, not that it's maze-like, but there's a couple little jumps and turns you gotta do. Now, we mentioned Altus Plateau in the capital. So once you do Liurnia, the rest of the game's like up a mountain. So to access this area, you need a talisman. This talisman is separated into 2 pieces. One of the pieces is right here. You might as well grab this now. There are multiple ways to the Altus Plateau. This is, you know, the easiest. Now, we'll get the other one, like the first episode when we start doing content, but that's half of the Dectus Medallion, so we do need this quest item. Now, from here, you have to do this quickly because you're going to be summoned, they're going to summon spirits to follow you. So if you go to the right, run all the way down, you're going to eventually see a hole on the left. It's the last hole on the left. When you get here, you turn around. Now, we're going to run straight for this item. Then we're going to turn around and jump on the other side of this wall. It has to go quickly. It's just anything's going to one-shot you right now. So grab that. Shit, look at that. You have to run, jump. See how we did that? So just to state, we started over there. We ran down that straight path, grabbed the item, we turned around, then jumped to the far left of this platform. Now, once you get on the other side, there's a little rat and a big rat. As you see, the little rat about one-shotted us, right? Really close. So there's a hole. What you need to do is run, do not get hit, drop down to this hole, turn around, then follow this wall around. Now, I've actually made it out of here before. It's really tricky. It would take you guys going back up the ladder. But, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's tricky. It's possible, but it's really hard to do. Hence why I said spin those levels. Because it's a surefire death. But it gave us something that's going to really, really help you out. So, right here, look at that. So, if I was to take that off, we'll go over it. So, 10 health, 10 endurance, 15, 13. Now, you're at 15 health, 15 endurance, 20 strength, and 18 dex, allowing you to use anything. In fact, even though we're not doing a quality build, because scaling's not really going to matter to your weapons maxed out, or close to, right? So that gives us access to a solid-ass weapon. You see what I'm saying? They're just super, super nice. Now we'll rest. Add to our flask. You already have 5 heals. So from this point, First thing we're going to do is go for a map. Now, you cannot... Well, I guess we should knock that out first. This won't be able to see. Yeah, we'll knock that out first with the backtrack. So what we're going to do first... Sorry to look at my notes. We're going to backtrack. That was the tree we went behind to jump us up top. So we're going to work towards that drop and kind of go to the right around that bridge we crossed right over there. So it does suck it's not on the map yet, but it's really just a straight shot. I mean, you can't miss the big tree. So we're going to go straight, drop on down. Now remember, you got like 3 bosses back to back. One, Tree Avatar, is the only one you're really going to have to worry about, which is right over there. Now what's nice about this, since this is a later game area, as we go over here, we're going to run into a graveyard. That means the runes we pick up are going to be much bigger. Much bigger. So that's where we originally came from on the left. We just want to stay to the right. And pick all these up. One of the ones we picked up is worth like 7,000. Now we will pop that towards the start, because why not? It's really good. Alright, so we're going to use this. Now before we do this trick jump, I would highly, highly recommend going on over to your side of grace. That way if you get killed with this jump, you happen to miss for whatever reason, you're good to go. So what you want to do for this is we need to, let's see if we can see it from here. There's a little roof with a little ledge. It's high. It's right there. If you look towards the front, we need to use that wind current to get to it. So if you go on over towards the cliff, you're going to turn around. Then you're going to hit this right at the edge. You need to jump catty corner. It's right there. You can barely see it past the tree, but it should be lined up perfect right towards the end of it. It's going to be a late double jump, but hug the wall to the right, just like that. And so you don't push your luck. Get off its horns. And there you go. So it's not that we surpassed this puzzle and cheesed this puzzle. This puzzle's broken, so that's actually the way you would enter it. Alright, so once you got that, that puts you up to your 4 spell slots at this point. We'll jump back on over to Fort Ferrith. Now we'll be going for your first map. Damn, time's flying too. I'm trying to fit in all of Caelid. If not, we'll get most of it, then we'll jump to the area. So, your map fragment's right here if you guys want to put a marker. You're seeing a main road, but the road's destroyed because the area's destroyed. So, you know, you got to keep that in mind. The road's not really there. We're going to go just to the left of this. And for the most part, you could use the wall as a guide, but not really, because you see our marker's a little bit off here to the right. Well, we'll say if you get lost, just try to look for that wall, at least towards the start of this run. Nor the dragons. We have no upgrades, no health, no nothing. We're not ready. Now there's the road. Like I said, you can't really see it, but it's there. And look, when it lines up, that's not even the road. It's technically over here, but you can follow this dirt trail and put you in the same spot. And we're not going to do this for a long time. If you guys want to just pick up the items, you have runes, wraps and stuff. We're just going straight to the spawn to the other side. And right here's your map fragment. Now this is going to help us out for later. If you keep going up, now it's hard, guys. It's hard. There's going to be these really big dogs, or huge beasts rather, and you have to kind of zigzag to avoid them. But if you follow this main road, there's eventually going to be a hut up there, right? You see that hut? We got to stay out of their way just enough not to aggro them. So you kind of do this just by swinging to the far right, to the far left. You know, it should be good. Yeah, this hut has a merchant that we're going to want later on, and this is the optimal spot. We want this side of grace. So like I said, it's going to help us much later that we already have it. It's going to save us a run. So since we are here, we'll grab it. Now look at that. There we got the first half of Caelid. Now we can remove our marker. We're going to jump back to Fort Ferrith and give you guys a huge shortcut. Very, very big shortcut. So that's Upper Caelid. Now we're going to go to Lower Caelid. That's everything we want to have upper. So, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people know about this, but I know a lot of people don't. So if you kind of go the way we just were, but you're going to aim for this, what seems to be a big rock. It's actually a big skull. Now you could use that wind current to jump down, but instead of doing that, we're going to climb this. Because, look at this, check it out. Smithing Stone 7. That doesn't come for such a long time. Now you need 12 of them, but as we go through the game and do all the optional content and everything, you'll be able to get those upgrades much sooner than normal. So it's good to start stacking them up. Then we'll just jump off the left-hand side, use the wind current, then start going downhill towards this church, as you cannot miss this church. Now, do not go in the front of the church. Do not, under any circumstances, try to enter the front of the church. You have enemies called pests. These guys right here. I'm telling you, you're not going to like them very much at all. Probably the most hated enemy in the game, at least up there, if not. You're going to notice another NPC. Her quest doesn't come for an extraordinarily long time. But we do want this side of grace. Then, try and keep things slow as possible. We're just limited on our time. But what we want to do is go out to the left side of this church. And you're going to see a main road you drop down from. So you can follow this. Now, if you kill these guys, they drop really big runes worth like, I don't know, like 3,000 or something like that. But they're way above your level, guys. We'll clear this area later on. All we want to do is run all the way straight until you see that big-ass troll. We don't want to tango with this guy. We're not fighting anybody. But right next to him is a drop-off that shoots us all the way on the other side of the map. So it's just beneficial because it puts us right by our other map fragment. So if you just drop right down here, you'll see a little branch. So I don't think you need the branch from this point, but why not, right? It's right here. Then we're going to get on the main road. And right past this archway, to the right, is the side of grace. Alright, so now we're here. We're about to go hook up mage builds. So go ahead and rest. Before we do anything, we're going to go for a map. Now, you can't really see it, but you just go to the main road, and it's right here. We don't have the map right yet, but we're about to. We're going to go to the road, make a right. See how long we've been going for here, guys. We got like 22 minutes. I think we can pull it off. Another merchant here if you guys want to check in with them. Map fragment right here. Now, there's some other stuff we'll do here. That'll probably go to next episode if we can't fit it in, so don't worry about it for now. But now you have that. What we're doing is heading down into this. This is a swamp full of rot. It's nasty, nasty shit. But this is the general area we're going. So we're pretty much just going to go from this side of grace, shoot straight in for some items, right through here. Then we're going to bust through the right and just curve around, you know, this area. So you can't really miss it. We're just going straight and then to the right in case you guys get lost. And it's hard to put markers too, though, because they probably wouldn't be too consistent as it's just this open area and it's, you know, it's a fucking marshy swamp and it's hard to be exact. So I will say, if you just go straight out, pretty much straight northwest heading here, you'll see these chairs. You see what I'm saying? So to get our early start, that's all we're doing. Just going and get shit in the open world, guys. We're not going out of our way to legacy dungeons and getting OP weapons and all that. We're just grabbing stuff that's on the way. It's helpful. So either way, as you go in, you're going to go to the right. If you see these two items, you're in the right space, right? So, but check it out. Boom, baby. Somber Smithing 4. So 1, 2s, 3s, and 4s will be rare for a bit. But like Somber 5s are super rare. You know, after a certain point, they'll all, you know, be more readily available. But there are certain ones. It's not like, oh, all high tier ones are rare. No, certain ones are very, very, very rare. Play your cards right. I'll get you guys a weapon that's like halfway upgraded before you can start the game. I think it's a little overkill, but if anyone's struggling. But either way, once you got that, remember I said we're going to stay on the right side of the coast and follow it through. So over here's a pretty good summon. It's not crazy, but early game it's nice. It's going to be a dog. Similar to the wolves, but there's only one. He's squishy. He can get killed quick. But if he happens to bite a boss a few times, he'll put rot on him. So you got that going for you. So once you get your side of grace, you can go right over here. That's your rot dog. And it's literally this guy right here. Just wait till he bumps into you. Look how strong a fucking dog is, guys. That is a dog. That's where we are, level 1. We're not meant to be here. Now, once you got him, same thing. We're following the coast, following the coast. And as I previously mentioned, you know, we're not doing content, so we will be passing a bunch of stuff that we're just not grabbing. So, eventually, following the coast, pretty much right under that Everjail, so you get lost, right? But you're going to see this really, really big scare. Once you see him, we're going to go back into this cut. Now, this is going to be a dead end. Don't worry about the enemies. However, there's actually a somber smithing 5 over here. So, you already have a 1, 2, 4, and 5. The only one we should be missing is a 3, which we'll get next episode. Now, when I get you guys all these upgrades, do keep in mind that you're going to upgrade one weapon, and then you will not have another opportunity to bring a weapon up for a long time. Because the game's just so big, it takes a while. So I wouldn't recommend just upgrading a weapon right at the start, but you at least have access to this. This isn't to make you OP, it's to get you access to this stuff, so when you find stuff you like, you have resources. That's what we're really doing. Now, as soon as you come out of there, just over here to the right, you're going to see that little branch to arcs. As soon as we go through this branch, you're going to go into the ruin on your right. Now, this is where mage builds come in handy, or mage builds come in mind. What you're going to do is just go downstairs. This is going to be a spell with 18 intelligence requirement. So we're doing strictly int. That's only 2 levels. You guys probably already got them. So just get 18 int. You'll be able to use this. It's called Rock Sling. You're going to summon a few boulders using gravity magic out of the ground. And it does a lot of posture damage. It can literally stagger enemies, bosses. So you can get critical attacks, like switch into offhand weapon. But it also just does a lot of damage in general. Now, we don't have to kill these guys, but they can't be blocking our way either. If you're worried about it, just get on your fucking horse and go. Look at the mess hall. Taking too many chances. Get out of here. One of those hits will annihilate you. Alright, so we're going to heal. If you just look to your right, it's almost dead across. It's just a little platform. This is going to get you just like a little mage outfit and then a perfume bottle. Perfume bottles are cool. It's like a resource to get off damage, just won't come for a bit. Now, straight back. You're going to see this area right here with this tower. You can actually run around this outside edge, but you got to stay moving. You see that? So you can pick that up there, or you can just go inside here, kill the plants, and simply grab your meteorite staff. So meteorite staff has S scaling. S is the best, meaning for the level of staff it is, it has the best scaling, right? However, there's just better quality staffs. You might have a staff that with B scaling, they'll blow that one out of the water, but it's not going to be for a while. So early game, that's the best staff for now. And then as soon as you come out, keep following around right here on the right. We're going to rest to de-aggro, and then from here, I'm trying to think which would be the better way, because we want to get like right here. I believe it may actually be safer to jump to Summon Water Village. So we have dex weapons, like this is mainly dex, but it's quality too. We have faith, we have int, we do not have strength, so you guys are next. Now, we're going back in Caleb, but where we're going to be is like right here. And when you go up, there's like a bunch of really big dogs, right? So I'd rather try to come from behind. So that's what we're going to be doing. And with this, all we have left is just doing a quick little loop through the Urnia, which is mainly just getting you guys upgrades for all your weapons. You already got, you know, starting spells, starting weapons for everybody, golden seeds, sacred tears. However, going to the Urnia does get more golden seeds, more sacred tears, but mainly weapon upgrades is what we'll be after. So everyone will be able to bring a basic weapon up pretty damn high, like plus 8, 10 even, which I think probably should hold off on doing. So make sure you guys have the resources, but you could. Or we could bring a somber weapon up to plus 5. Once again, You'll have the resources. I would wait until you find weapons you want. And you're still not going to be like OP. You're just going to have really good damage. You still can get killed easily. So, but it just gives you guys a solid ass start. So as soon as we go up, we're going to grab this for later. We're not worried about items or enemies until we clear these areas, right? Now what we're going to have to do is go straight forward. There's going to be a lot of like putrid corpses. These guys will absolutely obliterate you if they grab you at this point. But what we want to do is open up a cart for a colossal greatsword for strength builds, which is another build you could just stand by for a new player. It's really nice. But we have to get to that cart. So I like to cut. It's probably going to take us 2 runs, because what we got to do for faith build is break this scarab. It's hard to do. It's kind of a suicide run. It doesn't matter if we get killed. Do you break it? Yep. So we got her. We don't care if we die. We just want that incantation, right? Now, for the greatsword, we actually have to go the other way around. That's Steak America may have been better, but it'll work. But yeah, that gives us another good starting spell. Like right now, with the stuff we picked up, we probably got at least one thing to, because I don't use these anyways. Oh, it didn't give it to... Oh, there it is. So, yeah. It's, one decent spell. Because this build is very much going to be a... if you're doing Faith Strength, like the recommended build, it's not just one thing. Like, we can go Pyromancer, or we can go Paladin. There's a few different, setups we're going to do. Most likely, we'll be going Pyromancer. I think it's going to be a lot of fun and super powerful later, But, yeah, that's what I plan for the walkthrough. Like I said, something that's really viable, survivability wise. It has a really big damage output, and it's just a lot of fun, right? So there's a few we could have went quality, but I'm like, let's have some fun with it and play around with spells too. People want to see that stuff. And Faith Strength is probably the strongest build in the game for a newer player, in my opinion. Alright, so back on task. As soon as you go down the cliff to the left side instead of taking the main road, if you notice, you can just crouch, and you're right by the other end of this cart. So just makes it pretty easy not to get caught. Once again, if you get killed, does not matter. We just want the weapon. That's all we want. And there you go. Look at this thing. So you want to be strength boy? Now this is a two-hander, guys. This is not something you're gonna, one hand. We don't have the stats. Strength, you guys might be able to get the stats. It'll take you probably a little bit though, so don't worry about it. Either way, from here, we'll remove our marker. And where we want to be is back down at Southern Aeonia Swamp Bank. Alright, so from here, let's check the time. Yeah, I don't have enough time to get the last item we want. We can get one thing, but there's going to be probably like 5 minutes worth of stuff we can do next episode here before we go to the area. Not a big deal. So getting back on the main path here. That's where you picked up the map, right? We're just going to shoot straight across. And this is where we're going to wrap up at. Because we're almost out of time. There's going to be a really big dragon that's using rot breath out here. Don't want to tango with this guy. Even when we come back here fucking level 100 or 70, whatever we are, it's going to be tough. So, right over here is your side of grace. Now what I do want to show you guys is a farm. Now, once again, like I said, I speak highly about farming for levels, but there's an enemy here, and it's going to be hard, guys. It's not an easy farm. You're going to have a little bit of skill to pull it off, or it'll help with weapon upgrades. But there is a knight. It's called the Banished Knight. He's got, for one of the best armor sets in the game, period. It's up there. But he's got a really solid sword he could drop too. But yeah, if you want nice, look at his armor. It's so nice, dude. But yeah, you can farm this whole set. But you're going to be dependent on, for one, surviving the fight. For two, his drop chance. It's not guaranteed to do anything. It could take 1,000, 1,000 attempts. So just play it safe. Watch your dodge timing. That's all you gotta do. Just keep working those backstabs. You got blood loss on your weapon. It makes it where it's not so bad. Did you drop anything? No. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, he's got a really nice set of armor, and you can farm this up. I think it, looks really good. Armor mainly is an aesthetic more than anything else in this game, but there are still some defenses it offers. Alright, so with that done, right here, this is for Faith Arcane. very obscure build types. But if you saw the videos of people like summoning dragons above their heads that blow fire or bite other players and stuff like that, that's this build. So there are two churches of Dragon Communion. This is the better one. The other one we actually get in the earlier with like the starting spells, but pretty much when you take out dragons throughout the world, um, you'll be able to get that dragon. A spell relates to the dragon that you took off, right? So you'll see one. That's what it costs, a dragon heart. So one dragon heart, two. So, but you can get these abilities. So dragon fire, glintstone breath. This is magic breath coming from fire. Rot breath, completely dope. Ice breath. That's just a claw that will swipe enemies, and then dragon maw is where he bites. Now looking at requirements, so 15 faith, 12 arcane. On those three, those four. Then this one's 17 faith, 13 arcane, and then 24 faith, 16 arcane. So be dedicated towards that build. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So I want to make sure you guys had something too if you're going with those build types. But with that, let's check the time. I wonder if we can get to our next side of grace. We should be able to at least get to it. So what we're going to do from here is just go right back down to the main road. Now there is a castle here. Now this castle is much later in the game. Remember, Caelid is our third region. So there's a lot to do. Before this. So we're not going to do this castle, but right around the outskirts, there's some really good stuff I want to get you guys. So if you go right back to the map fragment and just take a right, you're going to start going downhill. For one, there's another golden seed right here. So you're definitely going to want to pick that up. That puts you up to 6 heals right at the start. 6. It's crazy. We should have 7 before we can start doing any content at all. 7. That's halfway upgrade. I think they only go to 15. But getting on the main road, you're going to see all these dogs, but there's also a lot of soldiers. And these soldiers are kind of dumb. They'll blow a horn, which is going to alert the dogs, but then the dogs just kill them. But we're just heading for this tower. Is essentially the only thing I want to do is just grab you guys a few smithing stones, and then on top of that, there's 2 ashes of war. One for strength build, and one goes good with faith. So I would like to, get that stuff. Now that's what we'll open with next episode. It's just a quick run. I just don't have the time to fit it in. So we're not going to proceed with the castle, obviously. But as mentioned, we can go around, the outskirts here and grab a few things. Then after that, as far as our early run, all we're going to do is go through Caelid. Same thing. Get the map fragments. Get you guys some upgrades. And then a Frostbite Ash of War for Int builds. So, like I said, that'd be Faith. That'd be Int. Strength. Even at this point, going over, as far as getting, everybody something better. You already have... that was for quality. We picked that up from Merchant. We grabbed that. That works for quality, strength, or dex. Strength builds right there. That's dex and quality. Quality, strength, whatever. You got faith builds right there with dex, faith. Intelligence builds. Then we can go on over. And check out other stuff too. So, we got quite a few golden seeds and sacred tears. Look at your upgrades already. Somber 1, 2, 4, and 5. We're only missing a 3. Smithing 1, Smithing 2, 4, 7. But next episode is where we're getting all the upgrades. Don't worry about that so much. But you already got quite a few sacred tears. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. A couple memory stones. So you have 4 spell slots already, which is going to be really nice. 3 stoneward keys. Obviously, your crafting kit, quite a few cookbooks, your spirit summons, and then sorceries. You got ambush shard. So I didn't talk about this. Ambush shard, what it does is it casts a projectile behind the enemy. So you do this at the start of a fight. Then while you're laying into them from the front, that will hit them in the back, not only dealing damage but also staggering them. So not an OP spell, but really good early game. This is your bread and butter for mage builds. So rock sling, like I said, summons rocks from the earth and sends them flying using gravity magic. A lot of posture damage, a lot of damage as well. Super good spell. Then Faith, we started with these as starting spells, but you got Lightning Strike, which won't be used for quite some time. Very powerful ability. You can actually spam, just keep on making it rain lightning. Super powerful. Whirl of Flame we just picked up. Only 13 Faith requirements, so we do have access to that right at the start. And then Flame of Frenzy is going to be an AoE we will have access to. It does build up a little bit of madness on you while using it, but it pretty much shoots a bunch of fireballs from your eyes that land on the ground and just do little explosions. It just sets the enemy ablaze. So we just got a little bit of stuff for everybody, a few Ashes of War, and next episode we'll conclude our early runaround. So that's why I said, probably 3 or 4 episodes. Turns out we will be able to do this in 3, but that will wrap up our early runaround. and get you guys plenty of materials so you could upgrade weapons when you find the ones you like. We do want to stick with something because you're not going to have the resources for many things, but that will set you guys up damage wise. You got plenty of gold seeds, plenty of sacred tears, and a little something for everybody. So once again, I do appreciate you guys tuning in to my channel for the walkthrough. I hope you guys are enjoying the walkthrough this far in the game in general, and I hope this has been helpful. We will see y'all back here shortly for the conclusion of our early run around and finally be ready to get started on the game.